Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and we want to welcome you to the Weekend Big Show, powered by Law Dog Sports. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, joined by my regular partner, co-host, and founder of the Law Dog Sports podcast, co-founder, Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airways. And we are here with you to talk sports for the next hour. A lot of great stuff going on in and around the world of sports. And sadly, Jeremy, some news not always good. Got a little something here for you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
You could have hit me with anything but that, but you could have been Vader. Why'd you have to pick that one?
The tears back. I really, and even before he passed, Jeremy, as we honor the late, great James Earl Jones, 1931 to 2024, even before he passed, you can't watch that scene and not get choked up if you're any sort of sports fan. I don't care who you are.
Sure, man, it was a great movie, and just all of his everything, his voice work in The Lion King, especially, I grew up on Star Wars, and he's Darth Vader. What a voice! Yeah, what an actor!
Interesting. I remember watching one night back in my 20s. You'd come in late, you're just sitting there watching TV, whatever you'd been doing, and I think Turner Classic Movies was showing Jack Johnson, where he played the boxer Jack Johnson. And
okay.
Just an amazing specimen to get ready for that role. And then hilarious segments on Big Bang Theory.
True. One of the only funny segments on Big Bang Theory.
Wow. And then also his work in the Tom Clancy movies.
Yes.
He was Admiral Cutter, I think, in Clear and Present Danger, and maybe
Clear and Present Danger
Games.
He was in Patriot Games, and I believe he was in Hunt for Red October.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those were, and Hunt for Red October and Clear and Present Danger are just fantastic movies. And I'm looking at his filmography right now.
You're what now?
I'm looking at his filmography right now.
Okay, yeah.
He's in Your Favorite Soul Man.
And he was in Coming to America.
Yes, he was.
He was a great character in Coming to America. So, man, James Earl Jones, tough loss this week. 93, I believe, is what it was. And my math don't math always, but the thing is, Jeremy, is I think it was TNT or AMC, one of those two was playing Field of Dreams on a loop, and I think Wednesday night it was, and I sat down and watched it, and had other things I needed to be doing, but man, just sitting down with watching some Ray Kinsella.
Hey, he was in The Sandlot.
Oh wow!
I don't know what. Yeah, he played the neighbor with what was the dog? Goliath was the dog's name.
Who wrote The Sandlot? Was that?
I don't know, man. That was a good movie though.
I love one of my favorite movies. You talk about somebody's big dog was Stand By Me with Chopper. Sick balls, Chopper.
Sick balls.
All right. So, man, Via Con Dios, James Earl Jones, like I said, even before he passed, it was tough to watch that scene without getting choked up. And now it's even tougher. And then, really Field of Dreams, Jeremy, speaks so much to the guys of our generation and above, because of the fact that I remember I was I think I was 19 or 20 when it came out, and I was I was the PA announcer for Oklahoma City University Chiefs baseball, and even the coaches who, you know how baseball coaches are.
Hmm.
They're they're pretty. Baseball coaches are great because they deal with the sport on different facets for 365 days a year. So in essence, they get a little grizzled. Maybe not as boisterous as football coaches, maybe not as technical as basketball coaches, but just you know what I'm talking about. The old fogey baseball coach. And at the time, the late great Denny Craybaugh, he spoke bluntly and he talked, and Keith Lytle, great coach, a little different vibe with him, a little more personable, but they're both sitting there just raving about Field of Dreams, and I could tell that even them at their age, being older than me, that movie spoke to them. So just a sad loss for the sports. I say sports world and the show business world. So James Earl Jones.
Yeah, in that movie, he's just, anybody who's grew up playing baseball and has lost their dad, you just can't watch the end of that movie
Mm-hmm.
anymore. It's just like I can't.
Yeah,
I don't want to cry.
and
I don't want to get. I don't want to get emotional. I can't do it.
yeah, the concept of having a catch with your dad in the
Yeah.
afterlife is pretty strong. So, via con Dios, James Earl Jones. So a lot more to get to today, Jeremy. Just so much stuff. We've got baseball news from the Minnesota Twins farm league. We've got Pac-12 developments. We've got South Alabama hanging almost 100 on Northwestern State, not Alva, and so. And then also Thursday night football from last night. Plus, we'll get into our pick'em for our Yahoo League, and then also fantasy football. But I'm just going to start out with the Dolphins and Bills last night from Miami. What is it, Hard Rock that they play at
It is Hard Rock.
in South Florida? And Jeremy, the the Dolphins weren't doing much. They were driving and they were getting down there when Tua Tagovailoa took a hit. Ironically,
No,
from
he didn't
Damar
take a
Hamlin.
hit. He just ran right into him. I mean,
Yeah, he didn't slide. He dove
no,
forward, caught his helmet in an awkward way as Damar Hamlin, which Lord bless that guy too. But so Tua's laying there. He comes out, and they're pretty clear. I think they said 6 minutes into him being taken off the sidelines, they knew it was a concussion.
I
So
knew it was a concussion when he was laying there. When that arm shot out,
yeah,
he
yeah.
was unconscious. It was a traumatic brain injury.
But
His
and we'll get into the repetitiveness for him, but that's not the worst he's ever been brought off the field. The last time
no,
was worse.
they had him on the board.
Well, and one time they brought him out and he just, I think visible signs, he's incoherent, and uh, he's got to take a serious conversation about hanging it up today. And I was listening to first Get Up, not First Take, Get Up, and Ryan Clark and Bart Scott giving their 2 cents, and they pretty much looked at it and said, you have a lot of life to live, and that's the thing. These guys are young.
Oh gosh, he's not even 30 yet, is he?
No, he couldn't be.
Oh my goodness. And that's his third diagnosed concussion since he's been in the NFL. And they're not it's not everyone is worse,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, and you're more susceptible to them as you keep getting them. So, he's out there, he's got the the Vices helmet is just fantastic. If you ever look into the science that goes into that, it's a helmet on a helmet on a helmet.
mm-hmm.
I follow a guy on TikTok that is actually a rep for Vices and Shut, and have watched him break down that helmet. You see what's in it, and it's like, oh man, how are these guys even getting hurt? But when you've had so many, I mean, how many did he have at Alabama? We don't know,
Yeah,
right? This
yeah,
is just the third one he's had since diagnosed since he's been in the NFL. How
mm-hmm.
many were undiagnosed, right?
Sure,
And
yeah,
him, he's a competitor. He's a good player. I can't rip on Tua too much. Yeah, he can't play in the cold. He's a good player. He's a competitor. Should he have? I mean, they're down 24-10 at that point.
it was
31 to
third
10.
quarter.
It was 31 to 10 because he just thrown the pick six.
Yeah,
They're back there. He runs for the first down, dives into a guy and said he should have just slid feet first. Who
yeah,
cares? You're going for it on fourth down anyways.
exactly. And well, he had the first down, and in that slide, so much of it has to do with where they start it. That's how the referees mark it. And I'll give Kyler Murray catches a lot of grief from around the league, and
He
I
catches
think
a
it's
ton of grief.
yeah, and maybe some of it's fitting, maybe I don't know. But here's the thing: he knows he's got to protect himself.
Hey, the
And,
worst thing you can see on the field is a quarterback running because it's eventually that's going to get him.
yeah. Well, and I'm sorry, I saw who's the new Washington QB, Jaden Daniels,
J- Jalen Daniels, yeah.
Jalen Daniels. I saw him taking. He's kind of, if he's not careful, he'll be a repeat of RG3. He took a few too many hits running the ball. So, and they were talking about Lamar Jackson, in week one. Just
Hmm.
so these
He's
quarterbacks are high end investments.
they still owe Tua $93 million,
Oh
Chuck.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing I was going to say though, Jeremy, is we shouldn't. This guaranteed money is a must for these
Mm-hmm.
players
It is.
because the fact that you can be cut at any time, the contracts are not guaranteed. You've
Mm-mm.
got to get your money in the front end, and
Sure.
and I will not besmirch the name of Dak Prescott for getting paid. That's on Jerry Jones. That's for Dallas fans to gnash their teeth about. But
You're only worth as much as someone will pay you, right?
exactly, that's what the market is. And so for me, I look at him and he really has been pretty snake bit to a Tonga Bailoa.
And he was having probably one of the worst games of his career. He threw two
Sure.
picks in the first quarter and a pick six right there in the third quarter before he got hurt.
Yeah. And really last week they
Man,
lose and this was supposed to be a breakout season. So really, I mean, the writing might be on the wall. Just take your guaranteed money, go live a great life. You will get a broadcasting gig, somewhere.
he could be he's got so much life to live. He's
Yeah.
probably got a degree.
Oh,
It's
sure.
just it's terrible. See a kid that is just coming into his own as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Just
But
you
was
just
I
heart.
mean,
It just breaks your damn heart.
his coach and who's pretty much the offensive coordinator sounds like he's on lewds the whole game. You know,
I do not like Mike McDaniel. I'm
he,
sorry.
he's
He's
got to
such
be
a dweeb.
he's got to be the death knell in this league. I mean, just for him to hold so much sway and
I
but
just want Bill Belichick to come out of the stands and power bomb him.
yeah, but the thing about it is you know at former head coach for Tua at Miami, Brian Flores, he's probably looking at it and saying, I told y'all. I mean, kids,
Flores just didn't think he could play. He didn't think
well,
he was
I
going to
mean,
have oatmeal between his ears after
was
three
he wrong? I
seasons.
mean, like you said, he was having one of his worst games ever.
Yeah,
And
but
I made the mistake of, because I had Tua as my starting quarterback on the fantasy
ooh,
league in Law Dog Sports over Baker Mayfield because I thought Tua at home could get a little more than Baker can get on the road against Detroit.
you'll never bet against Baker.
No kidding. That is gospel truth right there. But no. So we are streaming live on Facebook at Law Dog Sports, and then also you can listen to this episode at your convenience on our podcast pages: SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Podcast, and Apple Podcast. Also, we post the video of this episode on our YouTube page at Law Dog Sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok at Law Dog Sports. Jeremy, we had our first troll on YouTube, but apparently he chickened out and deleted his comment. And
It's okay.
I was, it's funny because self-deprecation is kind of my forte.
Uh-huh.
And so I've always likened this show to Kramer with his Merv Griffin set in his living room. And Jim, what's his face, the nature guy, said, "Where are the cameras?" Anyways, but this guy comments, and his handle on YouTube was Austin SI. Whatever Austin SI is, I don't know. No videos that he's posted, maybe just a troll bot. I don't know, but it said everywhere you look is just two random dudes talking to the internet. Nobody cares. Go do something useful. And it made me think, Jeremy, maybe he's right.
No, he's not right. What's he doing? He's probably sitting in his
Exactly.
underwear,
Yeah, and that's the
not
great.
just trolling the internet. Hey, look, I've been on forums. Well, not so much recently because it's a dead media, but for years.
So you talking about message boards?
Yeah, message boards.
What is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
Reddit.
just a forum, sort of.
Okay.
And the venom and divisiveness that exists out there is like,
Oh yeah.
you can't hurt me. You can't
But
hurt me. Say it again. Say it
here's the
louder.
thing. My comment was, "Thanks for tuning in."
Yeah.
And the video he went after was the short that we have on YouTube of you twisting off on Collinsworth and
Collinsworth and
Lamar
Lamar.
Jackson, which is a beautiful segment. Anyways, you know, but it's all fun. And like I said, we do this show. We'll take the trolls along with the fans, and not everything's positive. But hey, I want the interaction. But I will say this: it really kind of hit in the hurt box after Connor dings us for not understanding the Mario Kart reference by Baker Mayfield on the sidelines last Sunday.
That's okay. I hit him back with what a winner looks like. Yeah, I used to play Mario Kart with my daughter.
Okay. I didn't know anything about that. So for those of you not really clear on what we're talking about, it was some sideline audio from Baker Mayfield, and he makes a reference to drifting on the rainbow or
drifting on the Rainbow Road with no hard drive or
no hard.
something.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
something like that.
lost on me, but Connor Carr stepped in, and now he wants a spot in the organization. So anyway,
We offered him up one, and he came on, and he told stories about his grandpa's pigs, and
he kind of
then he never came back.
kind of
He
flubbed
never.
it. I'm going to say he could have
Well,
done
we
better.
never. He never gave it a chance to find his stride.
Yeah. Be that smartass that you are on social media, which his
Yes,
generation has trouble parlaying that into communication. So, all right, so let's get back into it. The weird week for the Miami Dolphins, Jeremy. It started out with the Tyreek Hill incident on Sunday before their game against Tennessee, in which he was detained by Miami-Dade motorcycle police. I'm going to say this: I don't comment on social media about cop stuff. It's a no-win situation for me. But I will say this: we know his character. We know what he's about. He's just a not a good guy. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what his team says. I don't care what the Miami Dolphins say. He's not a good guy. Mike Gundy, and in hindsight, seeing what Tyreek Hill's been able to do in the NFL, I really got a little more respect for Mike Gundy going forward with the dismissal of him. Now, we've talked about this before on this program. There was always the comparison between Joe Mixon and Tyreek Hill. Joe Mixon could have been dismissed from the OU Sooners. What was that, 2014?
I believe so.
He set out a year. It was a year where I promise you he would have benefited that team. They would have really liked to have had him either. It was 2014 or 2015, I think. I don't think he played 2015 because they went to the playoff in 2015, lost to Clemson. I don't remember him playing in that. Regardless, he assaulted a woman in a bar. And I've said this ad nauseum. The domestic relationship and a strangling incident is really, really some significant stuff. And they've shown that homicide rates are severely increased when there's a strangulation attempt. So you're talking about a lunatic walking the streets. I don't care what anybody says. Other incidents reported, and unfortunately, people of power and influence, I don't care what they do, who they are, what color they are, anything. People with money can get out of jams. So he skated on everything so far, hasn't done significant jail time. But he's a menace. I don't care what anybody says. He's a menace. Speeding through a construction zone in a sports car, which, you know, we have a lot of ways to die in this world, in this country. Apparently, pro athletes in sports cars could be moving up the chart.
It was not a sports car, Chuck. It was a supercar. It was a McLaren 720S coupe.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was going 60 and a 40, and he had limo tint windows.
Okay. Yeah.
All around him.
Yeah. Not conducive to his vision, and then not conducive to officer safety for a traffic stop on a violation. I will say this. I know what it's like to try to pull somebody over that's going at a high rate of speed, and you have to catch up to them. Motorcycles do a little better job than a car. You can zip through a little more, but you build up some adrenaline when you make that approach. When you're trying to catch up, the adrenaline, anytime you press that accelerator or that handle, the adrenaline pumps up. So the officer should have caught his cool before he got up there. In this day and time, with body cams and cell phone cameras and everything else, you can't go up there hot like he did. I mean, I'll freely admit this. Have I gone up and read some people the riot act back in my day? Yes. If they were, being non-compliant, did we accelerate the use of force scale? Yes. Never whooped on nobody, never roughed nobody up for no reason. But in this day and time, with cell phone cameras, so much can be construed as to your actions, and it's going to be seen. It's like that blue-gray dress where, I mean, that they could be totally justified, and half the population is going to say that they were wrong. I mean, that's where we live nowadays. So as an officer and having that much accountability for your actions as far as a body camera on your person, you've got to cool down smarter, and you've got time on your side. He's not going anywhere. Communicate to him. And the thing is, I hate it in the fact that, he's being a jerk. He should be taught a lesson, but that's not the world we live in. You have to de-escalate before you start putting hands on. I mean, it's just where we're at in the world.
And unfortunately, I mean, I watched the body cam footage, and all Hill had to do was leave his window down, and it's a big nothing burger. Mm-hmm. They're probably asking for autographs 5 minutes later, but he rolled his window down enough to get his license through and rolled it back up.
Yeah.
And then flipped out when they knocked on his window. The
heavily tinted windows is a serious officer safety thing. I mean, you have every right on a traffic stop. And here's the thing. Calais Campbell comes rolling up. He's claiming he was a victim. I don't think they pulled guns on him. In the body camera footage, I didn't see him being held back at gunpoint.
You're talking about Tyreek?
Well, his teammates showed up on the stop.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get that far into it.
They fended Calais Campbell and somebody else off, told him move along. So now they're claiming. But Drew Rosenhaus calling for the officers to be fired, and Tyreek up there in a wife beater. How ironic that he does press conferences in a wife beater, and he is literally a wife beater.
I am so thankful every day that person has been excised from my favorite NFL team.
Well, it's not like he was helping y'all out on the field.
Well, they won a Super Bowl with him, but they won 2 after he left.
They could have won one other if he can catch one ball in his helmet. You said
the greatest throw in NFL history. If he catches it, we're going to be watching that thing for the rest of our lives. This guy hit him right in the face.
Yeah.
But, they got a ton of picks for him, and he's been a headache down there. He's gone to the Sean Kemp School of birth control. He's got 10 kids.
He's spawning left and right.
Oh my gosh, dude! The money ain't gonna last forever.
And quit. Them gals that are opening up for him, get ready, because he'll be broke eventually, and your little junior won't be getting that payroll.
He's going to be like Antonio Cromartie. He's just going to be try to play till he's 50.
Well, and sadly, the Dolphins will probably keep him that long, because they obviously have no heart and soul, and we'll probably see how that plays out. But anyway, that's just my little tack on that. Is just in this day and time, police officers have to realize you can't run in there hot like that unless you've got I mean, the Miami Police Union or one of the police unions has spoken out in support of him. The thing about it is, Jeremy, and you and I dealt with this at the airport. The common public is just not prepared to see what police officers are going to deal with and how they deal with it. And anytime, no matter how wrong somebody is, anytime the police have to do anything, forceful, people take exception to it. And that's the world we live in. But
of course, there's never context to when it happens.
No
it's always,
context.
oh my God, it's the police officer is 1,000,000,000% in the wrong.
But like I
caught some white supremacy texts on or messages on that. And then you watch the video, it's like, that dude is probably Cuban. I mean,
wow. Yeah.
You hear the accent?
I could just see Dan Levitard's dad on there.
Poppy.
Yeah. I got to say, there's some generational Latinos that I'm friends with, and in particular have worked with, that are probably some of the more hard right people you're ever going to meet in your life.
You couldn't be talking about Officer Trio.
No. Hey, we got some people checking in. Michael Busso, good morning to you, sir. And then Max Patton out in Sayre saying, darn, I wanted to be your first troll. Well, I mean, the opportunity is there. And that's the thing, Jeremy, and we said this off the air. The comment from Austin SI telling us to go do something useful came in on our YouTube page. I would love to start interacting more with folks on our YouTube page, and then really maybe kind of give our fans the heads up that we're going to maybe transition over to that, because I got to say, the Zuckerberg platform has really been the bane of my existence for about a month now. And
it seems
really tough to deal with.
It seems like they keep adding steps you need to take. And we used to remember we had the split screen going on years ago. And
I didn't have to pay for a Zoom account back then.
Super user friendly, and we could just do it from our phones. And then like, no. There's got to be a stream of revenue somewhere in here. So screw you guys. Speaking
of, I got some positive fandom from some Weatherford folks saying that they tuned in last Saturday night for your drunken drive home from the game.
I was not drunk at that point.
No, you weren't. The wife was concerned a little bit. She's like, "Is Jeremy okay?" I was like, "Oh yeah, his brother-in-law's driving." he just watched that. He just watched that atrocity on the offense. Okay.
It's like, if I would have known he was going to drive on the way back, I would have started cracking him as soon as we got back to the car.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Make me forget.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. It was a fun time. Logistically with the connection, it was a little difficult, but we'll always do our best. And we're set to go on tomorrow night if you're available. And
I will be here.
I'll try to boogie home. I think I'm going to try to go to the Southwestern Oklahoma State University game. It's the home opener at Flex Field in Weatherford. And I've been telling people for the longest time I'd make a trip down and catch some SWASU football. And, we'll see. But we'll definitely shoot. And if it's not right at 9:30, just, folks will set their notifications and be ready to, tune in with us and interact. That's the thing. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your takes, especially this Tulane game, Jeremy. I don't know. It looks like it could be a whale of a game, and probably shouldn't be, but somebody somewhere has got to be able to put some hands on some defensive linemen and make a hole. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. As that game went on, the offensive line looked better. They were actually moving folks. It looked a little more, had a bit more continuity to it. I noticed several times in watching the replay and then hearing Dusty's commentary and people who know what's going on there. You got guys that are, Jackson expects them to be over here, but they're right here on the interception to Burks. He deepened his post instead of actually running a post. Jackson threw it to the post. Well, Burks isn't there.
Yeah.
So they got things to clean up. I think they're going to cover the 13.5 tomorrow. I
Wow.
think it's going to be the defense is going to be good again. The offense is going to I think they're going to get their stuff together, and it's a focus thing. And there's times in every season where you have adversity, obviously, and they look bad against Houston, but that was a bad Houston team that almost beat Texas rear end last year.
Yeah, and Willie
And that
Fritz is
adversity kind of springboarded them into the rest of the season.
Yeah, Willie Fritz is going to get the most out of his talent that he has there now. We saw him do it with Tulane, 2 seasons ago?
Sure.
Was that Lincoln's? That was 21. That was Lincoln's last season.
He almost beat Lincoln and Norman, and they did beat Lincoln in the Cotton Bowl.
Exactly. So he's had Lincoln's number, and he's given the.
When I heard Fritz was at Houston and that Houston was going to be coming to Norman,
yeah,
I took pause. It gave me pause because I know what kind of gritty product he puts on the field.
Sure. Good coach.
Yeah,
he'll have Houston turned around, and they may, they may put some stuff together this season and be, somewhere.
I kind of liken it to a Matt Rule situation. Obviously not without the CAB crap going on right before he got there, but the cupboard was pretty bare. He gets there and he's going to turn that thing around real quick. He's in a Power 4 now, so
he had the skullet probe. He had the skullet issues.
He'll probably be the next coach at Alabama.
Oh Lord,
Willie Fritz.
So,
does DeBoer really fit at Bama?
Yeah, let's table that for now.
All right.
Injury report for Oklahoma. The only one I see that we didn't already know about was Nick Anderson. Looks like he's probable. That's an undisclosed injury. And then Jaquays Petaway probable with a knee. And then Farouk and Jaden Gibson out. Man, let's keep the defense healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's get what's the status on the center? Brinkman? No, who's the center from SMU?
Oh, he's playing. I think he's playing. He's got a high ankle sprain. If he's on that, he's had a couple weeks to recover from that. Hopefully, he'll be a go. Man, they've had 4 different centers go this year, and they just lost the kid that transferred in from Washington. He's out for the year with a torn biceps.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that kid. Wait.
I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
Oh. Yeah, I saw it earlier. I'm sorry. So, anyways, I was listening to the ref a little.
See, this is. I'm sorry, Chuck, but this is the problem with college football. I could have told you this 4 years ago.
Oh, sure.
But we've had it's been such a friggin' revolving door throughout the entire sport. Hell, I can't tell you who's on the 2 deep anymore.
Well, I was listening to a little bit of Joel Klatt yesterday, and he was really, and it's required duty for him when he goes on the Pencil Neck show. But he was really raving about the portal additions at University of Texas at Austin. And, this seems like a season where they kind of have hit the right bingo numbers. I mean, they do seem to put it together. But one thing about it, Jeremy, is, Michigan struggled with Fresno State in week 1. This may not have been just the biggest. I mean, before the Red River Shootout, what if Michigan drops another one?
Right. That's okay. So I know who we're talking about. He's not even listed on the 2 deep before the season started.
Yeah, he was.
Well, I'm looking at Sooners Wire, USA Today, McPaper.
Because I went back and looked at it on Twitter, and the actual program released. When they released their 2 deep, he was in there as a guard, I think.
Yeah, it's a different name, and I should.
Is it Gentry something?
No, that's the corner, Gentry Williams. He's They said Brent said there was nothing serious about his injury, so
that's good news.
Boy, he stays hurt though. Man. Gary and Hatchett.
Yeah, Hatchett. That was it. Yeah, that's the guy. Another sellout down in Norman for tomorrow.
Yeah,
You going to go?
No, I'm not going tomorrow.
You're not going?
Man, that's gonna be super hot. I'm adjusting to only having 2 days off now. I'm
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I think I'll just
Um,
watch it under the air conditioning and maybe have an adult beverage or two. I don't know. Maybe
yeah, that
it's
was,
a little
that sounds
early
like
in
a
the
plan.
day. I'm not 2:30 kick.
2:30 kick. That's
Well, what's that
prime
all
day
about,
drinking
man?
hours.
Yeah, but the wife likes, we may go to Home Depot. Why not have time? I don't know.
That therein lies the thing. Therein lies the reason you should move to rural America, honey. Your Home Depot's an hour and a half away.
You've met
Um,
my wife. You know that
yeah,
will never happen.
I feel bad that I besmirched the name of Joe Mixon, bringing up past incidents after he was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Hey, he did it. He's a outside of that and the incident he had with the parking attendant on campus,
Yeah,
he's made a complete turnaround from that.
it was funny when that happened. You and
Or the
I.
paintball gun thing.
It's funny when the parking attendant thing happened. You and I were working out at the airport together, and I just thought it was so funny that people were getting online blasting him for blasting a parking attendant when you could stand 5 different times of the day and hear city parking enforcement officials being just blasted by people that just it's just such a nightmare out there.
That kind of goes with the territory if you're
It
parking
does.
enforcement, doesn't
Yeah, it does. So Oklahoma, hopefully, for their sake, can get a little something on the momentum phase because after
Tennessee's next week, bro.
it is tough, and Tennessee is getting a lot of love from national prognosticators. They're looking extremely well. It's going to be fun to try to pronounce the Tennessee quarterback's last name next week. I'm not going to try it this
Emi,
week.
Emi Alieva.
Sure. Uh, so, anyways,
Nico.
yeah, Nico. And then we were talking about Michigan. They've got Arkansas State this week, and then they host USC. USC could go in there and blast them too.
That's very true. I don't know. I don't know anything about USC. I've watched them play twice.
Yeah,
I don't know that LSU's real good.
that's
They
yet to
they
be
had
seen.
they had some issues against Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
Um, USC played Utah State last week.
Yeah.
I'm sure USC's it's early in the season. Riley will have the offense humming.
Mm-hmm.
No one's figured out the defense yet. I guess there's not enough tape on what they actually do.
Looks
We'll
like they
see.
tackle.
Yeah, it looks like they tackle. There has never been a Lincoln Riley defense that has mastered the art of putting people on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Well, Texas takes on the Roadrunners of UTSA, so the battle of the UT farm system, and looks like they are a 35.5 point favorite. I think I took Texas to cover in that one. TCU host University of Central Florida. We'll get into our pick 'em here in a minute, but also in state next tomorrow is going to be the Oklahoma State Cowboys hosting the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, and Jeremy, Kevin Wilson, Steve Spurrier Jr. is a bit of a homecoming for Oklahoma former coaches, but I think Tulsa's gonna really have a hard time with the Pokes tomorrow.
They are going to have a hard time. Oklahoma State should win this game 3 to 4 scores. It all depends on how Gundy feels at game time and what kind of game plan they roll out with. If they decide, Ollie Gordon, we're just gonna save him for Big 12 play, then they could have some issues early.
Yeah. Marty Wandry from Clinton Liquor chimed in, said, way better than a 11 a.m. kickoff. So stop
Hey,
your griping.
yeah, hey, there's having a canal is better than an 11 a.m. kickoff.
It is pretty rough, but 2:30 kickoff for the Sooners tomorrow. And then Oklahoma State does have the dreaded Big 12 11 a.m. kickoff. They're 18.5 point favorites over the Golden Hurricane, Jeremy, over and
That's
under
it.
at 62.5. Yeah.
They take a 2-score game, huh?
Vegas
Basically.
not a lot of love for the Pokes. Don't they have an injury to a linebacker?
I think so, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, he went off the field last
And
week. I
Colin
haven't.
Oliver.
Was it Colin? No. Ooh.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, it was Colin Oliver. I remember seeing him go off last week.
On the injury report, looks to me like I love when tablets work. Just Jalen Pope and AJ Green. So Colin Oliver apparently is available.
Must have been maybe it was a stinger or rolled his ankle or something. Nothing real serious.
Yeah. Tulsa comes into this game with the 35th ranked offense in the country, 492 yards per game. Uh, really, 100 yards behind them is OSU. They're at 107. Is there a lot of blasting of horns from the turrets about Oklahoma State's offensive lack of production?
Of course not, because we see this every year in the non-con with Gundy-led Oklahoma State team since he stopped calling plays.
OSU 199th in rushing yards in the country. If that was in Norman right now, prepare thyself.
I mean, I sent the I don't even remember. I think that was the Leprechaun movie that I sent that I tweeted from.
Oh, the Leprechaun.
Yeah. Okay, I'm alive. It's like Oklahoma fans are so weird.
Last matchup between the Pokes and the Golden Hurricane was September 11th, 2021, and
Ooh.
OSU squeaked that one by 28-23. So that might have something to do with Vegas's, lower spread, I guess. Texas Tech. Go ahead.
Wisconsin hasn't looked good at all, and they're hosting Alabama this week.
Yeah.
16-point spread. Alabama's only favored by 16 against not a great Wisconsin team.
Kalen DeBoer, and you were ready to talk Alabama just a bit ago. Kalen DeBoer, rolling in there from Washington, having to work with Jalen Milroe as opposed to Michael Penix Jr., which I see two varyingly contrasting styles. But, at the end of the day, at Alabama, it should be hogs on each line.
Sure.
Skill players on each side, cornerbacks that are draft picks, and I'll say this. I heard yesterday somebody talking about Patrick Surtain II, talking about the wonderful, development that Bo Nix has had just in his time in Denver. And that's great. But I'm still so surprised that Surtain has become the prolific cornerback that he is. When Charleston Rambo blasted him and of course it was kind of pointless time, but
he was just a baby then, though.
Yeah, but I thought the hype was over. I thought he was overhyped.
Hey, if Charleston Rambo can get loose, that guy is a legit 4-3 guy.
Sure.
Fast. If you don't jam him on the line, which he could not get off of physical man coverage, you're going to have a long day.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Patrick Surtain, one of those great Alabama cornerbacks. You can go down the list. That's where Kalen DeBoer is going to make or break. Because honestly, Jeremy, and I thought about this last night, there are great quarterbacks in college football every year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were Elite 11, 5-star recruits, whatever you call it. Some of them not so much.
EJ
Thank you. And really, up until this season, Quinn Ewers. And, we'll see what the Manning kid does. Malachi Nelson, wasn't he a 5-star kid?
He was a 5-star. He was committed to Oklahoma at one time and went out to SC with Lincoln Riley and couldn't beat out a guy that was a 3-star who just went to USC because he wanted to go to USC.
Yeah. Jackson Dart, he was a big name. Cade Klubnik, big name. So, I mean, here's the thing. All of this talk, and you look at just the program there at Oklahoma, it really makes you look back and appreciate Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. Because you talk about two dudes that could get the offense rolling and really just dictate the game. I mean, Jalen Hurts was a great addition to that Sooners team. He was a significant step down in quarterback play.
And you think about the dudes that Jalen Hurts had around him when he was at Oklahoma.
Yeah, C.D. Lamb.
Yeah.
I don't
Kennedy
think he had
Brooks.
any. He didn't have any time with Hollywood, did he? I think
No,
Hollywood was gone.
he had CD and who they
Charleston
had dudes.
Rambo, I think.
Charleston Rambo. Well,
No,
Rambo might have been at Miami by then
was
because he
Marvin Mims?
transferred out.
No, I think he. Yeah, maybe.
Marvin was a freshman with Caleb Williams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Oh, he had a healthy Austin Stogner and knew
Austin
how to
Stogner,
utilize him.
and didn't they have a transfer in that I can't remember.
Oh,
Anyways,
daggone it.
tag on it. But Jalen Hurts, as great as he was and a Heisman finalist, he did not operate the offense anywhere close to what Baker and Kyler did. And really, you could say Baker was kind of more prolific than Kyler. He had more time in the system. For
Yeah,
sure.
and I get what you're saying, and I mean you're absolutely right. But like I said many times, man, if Jalen, because I've got 1 year of development, I can't stand Muleshoe, but without that 1 year of development in Lincoln Riley's system, he's not he's
Oh yeah,
not going in the second round to
no,
Philly. He's not
and he's
starting.
probably not having the success he is in the league.
And okay, so they had A.D. Miller, Trey Sermon. Oh my God, Trey Brown. Trey Brown. I miss you, Trey.
Trey Brown,
Trajan Bridges. Oh yeah, they had that group.
Hazelwood.
Theo, Hazelwood,
Mm-hmm.
Drake
But how many of those
Stoops,
guys were actually available for Hertz that year?
Charleston Rambo.
Okay.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Stog.
yeah. But Jalen is great of a season. But my point originally was the fact that we see all these great quarterback names, but other than Caleb Williams's season of really just a highlight Texas win and saving them from losing to Kansas.
5-2.
Yeah. I mean, the homegrown quarterbacks have not necessarily been what Oklahoma has flourished with.
Well, see, Riley had to leave Oklahoma to go to USC so Caleb Williams could transfer in, and that's the only reason so he could win a Heisman because Riley can't do that with a guy that he recruited. We see Brock Vandegrift.
Yeah.
You don't remember that Lincoln Riley was all in on Brock Vandegrift.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb Williams just came to OU because he wanted to play for Riley. When Vandegrift decommits, go to Georgia, he's not a good player. I mean, he's at Kentucky. Yeah, he's a starter at Kentucky, but he's not what everyone envisioned him being coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Maybe it's system. Maybe if he's under Riley, he's more Miller Moss than what he is now. Don't know. But he didn't recruit the Moss kid. He was there when he got there.
Sure.
That was a Helton guy.
Yeah. So he'll always flourish with other people's talent. and here's the thing. I don't sit there and grind my teeth when they show Muleshoe anymore. I'll call him Muleshoe just kind of as a joke. But, I mean, in essence, Oklahoma fans, you got the coach that you say you wanted. You can't go on pining and bitching about your ex. I mean, that's relationship 101.
The 10-3 last year, and then Riley falling on his face his last year in the Pac-12 last year assuaged a lot of those hateful feelings. I think as far as the program in Norman, not the product on the field. Guys are banged up. That's a thing. It's weird. I know you say Jerry Schmidt, but it seems like maybe there were some voodoo and some refugees eating cats and chickens and whatever.
Speaking of our friend Steve Anderson posted a deal on Facebook today, a picture of a World War II soldier writing a letter. It says, "Dearest Penelope, day 3 of the cat eating memes has begun."
It's okay. But as far as the program is concerned, financially, recruiting wise, they're in better shape now. Riley never cracked the top 10 in recruiting. Venables has done it all 3 years he's been here.
Sure.
So we need to have a little patience, OU fans. We're all weird. We all think, hey, every year's got to be 2000 or it's just a lost season. But college football's hard.
2000 was 24 years ago. Prior to 2000, when the walls were tumbling down.
Do you remember 1984, Chuck?
Huh?
Do you remember driving around Norman in 1984 and seeing the Berry bumper stickers and how people just that Barry Switzer, he's just no
a monster.
good.
What
Yep, I know.
I'll say this: as someone who appreciates Oklahoma football, it's tough to watch Stoops go around and do all this talking and know that he was one of 4 in championship games.
I know.
He should have found a way to pull in one more.
I mean, he lost to Urban Meyer. He lost to Nick Saban.
Lost to Pete Carroll. And then Dabo,
even though that one was vacated, it never happened. You jerk.
55-19 sucked.
Yeah. Well, Stoops was great when there were just a lot of great coaches at a lot of great programs.
Mm-hmm.
Saban at Alabama and LSU, Urban Meyer at Ohio State and Florida.
If you're going to be nicknamed Big Game Bob, I mean, you won your title against Bobby Bowden, and who would have been his?
Someone laid that on him after the 51-6 shellacking when A&M came to Norman when Oklahoma went 7-5 in '99.
I'll say this: if Mike Lupica buys the farm soon, maybe that'll break the curse.
Maybe that's sack of crap.
It has not been the same thing. They have fallen short perennially when they've been, favorites and worthy of national championship since Lupica blasted the 77-0.
Talk about a guy who didn't watch the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't score. They scored in the third quarter. Their last touchdown was a fumble return for a touchdown, from the 10.
But
the defensive guys want to score too.
That was Derek Strait, who was a Thorpe finalist or Thorpe winner that year. And you were already, it would have been a nice, I don't know. And it's not like it was Northwestern State. So
no, it was Texas A&M. That's a big. Remember, you better tape your ankles if you're going to play A&M. They've been great.
Yeah,
their entire history.
a lot of natties there.
Yep, a lot of them.
Okay, so real quick, pick 'em this week. I was looking at our league, and I am in third. Let's see, I am in fourth place, I think, and really doing poorly.
Oh, dude, you don't even understand.
But
nothing will humble you more picking football games than a week 2 or a week 1 when you don't know even what state half the programs are in.
Yeah. Well, and this week is funny, Jeremy, because so many rivalry games you have to wait until late November or late October. Yeah, late November. Apple Cup is this weekend. Civil War is this weekend. Backyard Brawl is this weekend. I mean, this is a great week 3 for college football.
Who guys that are good at picking games now they're just living on luck.
Oh yeah.
Because with the transfer portal and NIL, just everybody.
Connor Carr chiming in on Facebook Live. As long as I continue to beat Jeremy in the pick'em, I'm fine. Well,
you probably will because
I beat Connor last week in the fantasy head-to-head.
Look at you! Did you have Tua last week starting?
I had Tua. I had and I didn't even start Isaiah Likely.
Well, see, last week I lost by 1.5. Because
for me,
who's that?
Jordan Mason.
I started. I had to, scramble to pick up a player to fill in for T. Higgins because he's got a phantom hamstring injury.
Yeah. Real quick, Jeremy, just anything stand out to you this week that you will take particular interest? I'm looking at A&M in Florida. I'd kind of like to see who comes out of that pillow fight.
Man.
And then Missouri and Boston College.
Hold on a second. Hold on. And Connor, I got this. That's an SEC team, sir. That's an SEC game. It just means more. It is going to be basically World War III.
Oh, gosh. It'll be fun. Whatever. So Connor also chimes in. His fantasy team's going to get concussed now. Yeah, we'll be making the swap to Baker the rest of the way.
You should have did that anyways.
Oh, yeah. But like I said, I thought, well, this will be the week that Tua breaks out and abuses, at least exposes a little bit of the Buffalo defense. But they go down to Florida and just just
I had
thump them.
I got Miami's defense starting this week, and they hung a goose egg last night. The only solace I have is whoever I'm playing started Buffalo's tight end, and he also had 0 points.
And I think I had another Miami player that did nothing. Can't remember, but I switched out Likely for in the what is that spot in Yahoo Fantasy?
Flex.
Is that flex?
He would just get wide receiver, running back, tight end. Yeah.
So Likely
WRT.
Likely's in that spot on my roster for Jackson Smith and Jigba, which that probably means in Jigba will have just a breakout game.
And Jigba was going to have 12 catches for 2 bills and 4 scores, and Likely's going to regress to the mean. Yeah.
They'll realize let's
2 catches for 4 yards.
It's not Reggie Bush. LSU at South Carolina. That will be one of those games, Jeremy, that kind of tells us a lot. Like we were talking about, what is this LSU team? Because Carolina really got after Kentucky last week, and then I saw Van Pelt last night had Kentucky covering against UGA, and that would be interesting. And then Kansas Jayhawks, Jeremy, they try to bounce back after a loss and take on the Running Rebs in Lawrence, and that is a 7-point favorite for the Jayhawks. And then also K-State, Arizona, the Battle of the Wildcats, which is that one of those games this season that's not a conference game?
Man, I don't know. The Big 12 is so weird.
Some of the games have ended up kind of screwed up. But no, just a lot. This is a good weekend of football, Jeremy. I mean, this is going to tell people a lot more about some of these teams, right?
Yeah, once you get past week 0, week 1, week 2, yes, they should be better, because a lot of programs, even if they're not conference, they're going to ramp up to a Power 5 team.
Yeah.
So you're going to start seeing better games in week 3, finally, and some odd conference games, which are nice. I'm ready for the conference season to get here to see some actual fun matchups.
Yeah.
And Max Patton says, no, that is not a conference game. Well, I want to believe it is, Max.
Busso.
Shut up, Busso.
For the Big 12's sake, they need to get a win in that one. And also, we forgot to mention, we want to see UNLV involved in the new Pac-12.
Absolutely, I can't wait for the new Pac-12. Maybe they can lure the University of Maine, South Florida. Man, is there a college football? Isn't there an NFL academy in Great Britain they could get in there?
Yeah, throw them.
Why not? Let's just.
Why can't the powers that be just say, "Hey, we're going to reset this"?
Because the NCAA has no marbles.
They don't.
And they just let it go. So yeah, like we've talked about before, somebody, I don't know. I don't know. We need a college football commissioner that is not NCAA.
When Stanford and Cal are having to pay to send, their swim teams or their lacrosse teams to Raleigh.
SMU isn't taking a dime from the ACC until 2030. Are you kidding me? SMU is a brand, okay?
Yeah, it's crazy. So the latest that I saw, and there may be some more additions now, I don't know. It's just hard to tell on Twitter what's real. I just kind of follow Stadium. San Diego State, Boise State, Fresno State, and Colorado State join Washington State. And call them the state conference.
Right? That's where I'm at with it. Now, I've also heard that they may try to, because North Dakota State is kicking around the idea of going, FCS or FBS.
FBS.
So that would be one I think that they would go after.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Utah State?
Why would they? Yeah.
I mean, Nevada, Reno. I mean, those. I mean, just
Nevada, Reno.
Just do the Mountain West plus, add the Mountain West plus Oregon State.
Hey, throw a bag at BYU, see what happens.
You telling me? Yeah, no kidding. They might rethink it. But you're telling me that Air Force wouldn't bring some value to a new Pac-12?
That's right, Dan. Little Bro Conference. Air Force, absolutely. I mean, just
leave out New Mexico. I get it. I love New Mexico, but they can't put anything together. New Mexico State's out, UTEP's out, but man, just raid the Mountain West. Call Call it the Pac-12, the new
Is
Pac-12, whatever.
so I think we need to talk about this. Are New Mexico and New Mexico State just bad because they get no funding? What's going on with that? Is it
I
just
don't
a
know.
tough recruit?
New Mexico State has been more competitive as of late. Remember, they went to Auburn and beat the Tigers last season.
That was Jerry Kill, yeah.
Jerry Kill, baby. Great
I mean,
coach. I,
in a liberal bastion that is the state of New Mexico, you would think that the
land of
two major
you bud.
land of enchantment, you would think those two universities would be just publicly funded out the wazoo.
You would think. Here's the thing: what money does the state of New Mexico have to funnel?
Right.
I mean, they got chili peppers and that's about it, and some mountain.
You know what? They need to sign an NIL deal with cartels.
If as long as the buses aren't used as coyotes, I think they'll be okay.
Okay, so we got Buso, the WAC, Narva's Little Brother Conference,
LBC,
or the Pack WAC or the WAC Pack.
WAC Pack.
The WAC Pack. The WAC Pack is that's it. The WAC Pack.
Real quick, as we kind of transition here in the last minutes, but we'll dive more into the New Mexico debacle.
Damn it, Connor, the Border Patrol Bowl.
There's those deplorables making themselves known. Real quick, Jeremy, and we said we would talk about this, and then we're going to have to get out of here. Minnesota Twins minor league catcher Derek Bender. He was a sixth-round selection in this year's Major League Draft. He was out of Coastal Carolina, so he was a Chanticleer. He has been released from his contract from the Twins as a catcher tipping pitches to the opposition. Now, I'm assuming with the dismissal that the Twins are saying he did this on purpose because they said there were playoff ramifications.
Okay, so the ESPN article leads with the Twins released minor league catcher Derek Bender on Thursday after he told opposing hitters the types of pitches that were coming to the plate during at-bats in the game last week that eliminated his team from playoff contention.
So maybe he had other things going on and didn't
need
to be jacking around with a minor league playoff.
Maybe he wanted to be at the big Coastal Carolina game and the playoff game was going to interfere with that. I get that. You remember Little League ball when the kids were just, I'm done with this. I want to go play with my friends. And
I want to ride my bike.
Right.
I don't want to be out there playing baseball.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's just so interesting in the fact that, because I had to read it to make sure, because in this day and time, you never know if it's by omission or commission. Was he just so incompetent that he was tipping pitches? But apparently it seems pretty intent. So
yeah, he was telling guys what was coming. And
wow. Just stop playing. You don't have to. You can go on with your life. You don't have to play minor baseball.
He had probably been notified he wasn't going to be retained after hitting 200 with 2 home runs this season.
Drafted this year. Can you be cut that quick?
I mean, he's at what
round?
Was he at
Fort Myers?
That's single A? So he was in the A ball. So I wouldn't think they would give up on the guy after a season, but apparently they have.
The Fort Myers Mighty Muscles, a Twins affiliate.
If the guy can play though, someone will sign him.
But would you? I mean,
no, hell no.
You've already. I mean, in essence, that's got to be somewhere close to gambling in baseball, right?
Well, every time you'd play, you'd have to see, A, are you betting on this? B, what do you have planned for the weekend? Have to get on his Facebook and see what events he's interested in.
Dan Narvik,
just a mess.
You picked up on that one. Didn't think it would have a wide reach. Opponent was Tigers, low A, Lakeland Flying Tigers. Well, I just had a feeling that with the Twins being involved, that it would have something to do with the Detroit Tigers, and hence it would be mandatory to mention it for Dan Narva's sake.
Right.
Hey, here's the thing. You and I, and tell me if you've ever known this guy. Guy was a decent player in high school. didn't do much, maybe went to a small college, whatever. And then if you have the funding or if you have the means, you can find leagues to play in. I knew a
Sure.
guy back in 99 that was playing on an independent league team in Missouri. Now, he just happened to be married to a woman who had struck it rich on a pyramid scheme, but his job was semi-pro independent baseball player, and he was gone a portion of the year. Now, what his wife of good means found out, she had two harsh realities, unfortunately. One was that a major retailer would undercut her product that she was selling, and then two, that her husband would be checking out fans, and groupies on the independent trail. So, sad story, but I mean, we've all known that guy.
Sure.
And so, Derek Bender, we salute you for finding a way to not have to go play Little League all summer long. Now go be an insurance broker.
Yep. And pass that insurance exam. I hear it's tricky the first couple of times.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. Hey, what do you got going this weekend? Just watching some ball tomorrow? Anything else?
I'm just ramping up into a big ball watching day tomorrow. It's got the 11 a.m. games. Get to watch those. And
okay, so
evening game's going to be fantastic.
Play-by-play tip and broadcasting tip. When talking about a coach and their job, it's always a head coaching job. You never not say it without the coaching in the middle.
Gotcha.
Because yours truly almost blurted out that, this year's coach with the head coaching job, but almost let it out without the coaching. And it is not good to say head coaching job without saying the coaching. Just saying. So
okay, so tomorrow we got Dvorak and Pash on the call in Norman.
Okay.
So at least we're going to have a good crew.
Yeah.
Call that game.
Yeah. And then also we want to remind people to tune in tomorrow night. We'll say 9:30-ish as we'll get back on Facebook Live and wrap up the day's college football. And it's a lot of fun, Jeremy. I mean, this is a fun show too, but man, Saturday nights after the highs and lows of college football, it's really what it's all about.
Real quick before we get off, the Chiefs have the Buccaneers and at home, not the Buccaneers, but the Bengals at home Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's for you, Boos. I don't think Joe Burrow is 100% healthy. So
is Jamar Chase playing?
I don't know. I don't think so. There's some weirdness going on there. They offered him a contract, 4 years, $140 million with no guaranteed money or something like that.
Yeah. Real quick, let me look at that. 3:30 kickoff on Sunday for the Chiefs and Bengals. Let me see what the injury report says. Well, they don't list them as injuries if they're just inactive.
If they're holdouts, no, they do not.
Wow.
And Tampa going to Detroit.
Who had Jamar Chase in our league? I'll have to go research that. Hey, real quick, I'm going to, like I said, I'll probably try to go to SWASU tomorrow night and then get back in time. 6 o'clock kickoff. Probably have plenty of time to get back and get going on the college football wrap-up show. But I will be at home tonight for Weatherford football as they host the El Reno Indians. I'll be on the call at 6:30 for the pregame, and that is on 100.3 and 1590 AM Coyote Classic, and then also streaming live at Right.Media, Weatherford Eagles TV. I just wanted to throw that out there, Jeremy, so that anybody tuning in would realize I wasn't just a random dude.
You need to get over that. It's
Jeremy.
It's going to bother you.
We've spent 5 years trying to grow this.
Well, what is that guy? Who's that guy?
Hey,
unless that SI stands for Sports Illustrated, he's just a random dude on the internet too.
Interactor, and I wish to God he wouldn't have deleted his comment. I mean, we need interaction on our YouTube, folks. So subscribe.
Should have went Scorched Earth on him.
So subscribe to our YouTube channel at Law Dog Sports. Also, our podcast pages: SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. follow us and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok. And then you can find all those links by going to lawdogsports.com. Actually, the analytics on our YouTube page, Jeremy, has been pretty solid over the last. I was very happy with some of our numbers from the last 28 days. So great job
Fantastic.
by you. You always bring a lot to the show in a great fashion. And we'll come back tomorrow night at 9:30, Saturday night, college football wrap up right here on Law Dog Sports. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night, 9:30, right here on Law Dog Sports on Facebook.
Booma.